misperception for a lot of applicants, I would say, is a lot of them actually they thought MM2H is PR. Yeah. So we always receive inquiry from foreigners asking us, is this MM2H going to give me a visa status, which is not.
Hey guys, it's Harris here again. So for today's episode, right, if you are watching this video, considering to apply for MM2H. So for this video, I help you to save the time. So rather of you going through all the videos, today I have actually summarized what are the key things to consider before you apply for MM2H. So for today's episode, I've actually invited a specialist in the MM2H field. We have our guest, Eric here, right? So later in this coming session, right, he'll be sharing some of his experience of as a foreigner, what should you consider before applying for MM2H? So Eric, welcome here today.
Thank you, Harris, for inviting me for this sharing session.
No problem. So actually, before we start the session, right, maybe I just want to hear more from you. So, Eric, yourself, what do you do actually as an MM2H?
Yeah, basically our role is like a Malaysia ambassador. So we will actually bring foreigners to visit and study Malaysia. So we cover not just on the property visit and also educations, medical center, as well as a lot of very locals area that we will also bring them to visit.
Yeah, speaking of that, from your experience, Eric, because you meet a lot of customers, and I'm sure some of them will apply MM2H, some they don't. But my first question would be, is Malaysia still worth considering in 2025 for MM2H?
Yeah, Harris. So based on the record, you'll be surprised that this year is the highest so far for the past 20 over years for the number of applications that we receive for MM2H. So, and when the government actually relaunched the new plan, MM2H plan, since last year, there's a lot of noise coming up from the market. People saying that, oh, this is not a good plan and Malaysia not really an ideal country for them. However, the figure shows that the number of applicants keep increasing. And as July of this year, so it's already hit almost 4,000 of families, okay, which compared to previous years, the highest is about 4,000 during a year. But just 7 months itself in the year 2025, so already hits 4,000 family. Successful applications, yes, being approved, yes. There's still a lot of applications being processed. So that's why now the actually application process also take a little bit more longer time compared to the first batch who applied early this year. So those who apply early this year, within about 2 months time, they get the approval. But now due to the volume, so there's a lot of applications coming in. So the government need more time to process the applications. Yeah. So from the figure then, it tells you that Malaysia is still one of the ideal country for all these foreigners who want to consider migrations. So I think Malaysia is still above considering for second home, or even you want to invest in Malaysia. It's also a good timing now.
Coming to this, right? So based on your perspective, like, as MM2H agent, what has actually changed in the compared to like 5 to 10 years ago?
The previous plan is, of course, last year government actually did some amendment. Okay, so they actually come up with a plan which there's 4 different categories. So last time, the old plans, there's only 1 category, okay? And the old plan require you to deposit a higher deposit. And also, the applicants also need to show salaries, income proof. Yes, asset proof and income proof. However, for the new MM2H, government actually removed this, okay? In order for you to prove that you are capable to migrate to Malaysia, so we actually require you to purchase a property. The old plan didn't require you to purchase a property. So this is the biggest changes. Okay, so now whoever want to apply MM2H, you have to purchase a property to qualify for the applications.
Okay, so from what I hear is that basically if, let's say you're watching, right, and you are considering to apply for MM2H, so the bigger change will be now you don't have to prove your source of income in a way. Yeah. So as long as you got the savings and you can put the savings in, like what you said, the deposit,
yes,
in an account, and then if you were to invest in the property, then you're entitled for the MM2H.
Yes. So even though the previous plan doesn't require clients to purchase a property, but based on our record, most of the applicants ended up, they will still buy a property in Malaysia. Yeah, either buying for own stay or buying for investment. So when the government implement a new policy that require them to purchase a property, it doesn't really like affect them.
True.
Yeah.
Can I say that because they already love the country? I mean, in order to come here to retire.
I think one of the major reason is because of Malaysia property is still very attractive. Yeah, consider very affordable. Yeah, if you were to compare to Asia country, Kuala Lumpur city center property compared versus like Singapore or Bangkok or Japan, we are still one of the lowest. Yeah, but yet we have a lot of quality properties.
Okay, so another question. What are the biggest misunderstanding that foreigners usually have about MM2H?
Okay, talk about those rejected case mainly are due to insufficient documents.
Okay.
Yeah, so for us as responsible agents, usually we will check one round, we will check very thoroughly before we assist the client to submit their document. We'll make sure that this is a so-called win-win case, okay? Otherwise, we won't submit the applications, okay? So, and the misperception for a lot of applicants, I would say is a lot of them actually they thought MM2H is PR. Yeah, so we always receive inquiry from foreigners asking us, is this MM2H going to give me a visa status, which is not. Actually, MM2H is a long stay visa for you to stay in Malaysia, but you do not have an identity. Yeah, so you are not a PR, you're not going to have a citizenship.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the difference compared to some other country where they allow you to apply for the PR.
True.
Yeah.
So actually, since you mentioned on the PR part, right, and coming to Malaysia, it's easy to get a PR based on your experience.
Based on what we know, it's quite difficult. Yeah. So though internet, there's a lot of people actually saying that it's easier. Some agents even say we can assist you to apply and sort of like guarantee. So so far we never see any successful cases. Just example, just to share with you, we also have clients foreigner, but they have a Malaysian spouse. So even though they have a Malaysian spouse for maybe like 10 years, they also couldn't get a Malaysia PR. So it's so difficult to get a Malaysia PR.
That's why MM2H is
that's why yes, MM2H is one of the options for them to stay in Malaysia, and you do not have to leave Malaysia for a long period.
Yeah. So I'm sure, right, at this point you might be thinking, so what is the benefit if let's say I were to obtain MM2H? So on this part, later in the video, we will cover on that as well. But now, before we talk about that, right, so coming back to the property part, because just now you mentioned one, I find it very interesting point, which is previously, even though MM2H doesn't require people to purchase a property, but yet a lot of people purchase for a property. So coming back on this right now with the MM2H new policy where it's required to purchase a property, do you think this is part of the government plan to actually push for Malaysia property market? Or you think actually, like what you said, is actually a good option, you know, because property price in Malaysia is still very cheap? What do you see on this regarding the new policy to require to buy a property?
Yeah, I think this is a good move. Government actually have such requirement, and to also, I think the main reason is to boost up our economy and property sector. So as you can see, a lot of foreign investors, even without MM2H, also they are actually coming in to invest in Malaysia property, especially like prime area like KL city center, those a lot of expat area like Monkera or even Bangsa area. Yeah, you can see actually from time to time there's a lot of foreigners actually coming to invest in Malaysia, especially those from our neighboring country, like from Indonesia, from Singapore, yeah, from China. So the reason why, because we are also receiving a lot of property inquiry from all these foreigners. So we always check with them, any reason why you consider to invest in Malaysia. So most of the feedback are, Malaysia is still very potential. The price is very affordable. Yeah, just imagine, especially like Hong Kong clients, they always tell us a price for them to purchase a car park in Hong Kong, which they can actually own a property here.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's so expensive to own a property in Hong Kong. Yeah, so that's the reason why foreigner still consider to invest in Malaysia. And also because we have a very good so-called policy and government system to protect all these home buyer. So all the sales and purchase agreements are regulated. So purchaser who purchase our property in Malaysia, so you don't have to worry. Yeah,
that's a good point. I think on this, right, I'm sure there are also a lot of people also curious to find out actually where do normally those foreigners or those applicants that go through your application, where do they normally buy, or which area do you think, like for foreigner, is hotspot?
So far, my experience, most of the foreigner that we encounter, they prefer on high-rise development instead of rather than landed property.
Why is it so?
Yeah, I think maybe because of the lifestyle, they thought living in a high-rise building is more secure and come with a lot of facilities. So, and easy maintenance, because we always receive feedback from clients, let's say from Hong Kong, from Taiwan, or from China. So they're so worried, so scared to live in a landed house because the house is so big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they said they doesn't want to go through the hassle to maintain such a big house.
Yeah.
So but we also have some clients. Initially, they actually go for condominium high rise. But once they're long enough in Malaysia, after a few years living in Malaysia, then they start to consider a landed property also.
Understand.
Yeah. So, and for foreigner, usually we will advise them to go for area like those with more expat community area, like KL City Centre,
Yeah.
or Bangsa area, Mont Kiara, all this with a lot of surrounded by all this good neighborhood and very convenient and easy for them.
Nice. So talking on this, right? So now coming on the next part, which is more to the cost, right? Because I believe a lot of people that considering MM2H, they also worry that is it involve a lot of party and also a lot of costing, hidden costs. What do you think?
For the new plan, I think government did a very good job, which they actually standardized the fees. So there's no hidden fees, and the agents are not allowed to collect other than the fixed fees that is being announced. Okay. Example for the lowest category is called silver plan, silver category. So the main applicants have to pay a fees of 40,000. Okay. And out of this 40,000, partially is actually paying to the government for the processing fees, application fees, and partially is actually to the agents. So other than that, the agents are not allowed to collect more than the 40,000. Yeah. So now I would say it's very transparent, and we will also tell the clients upfront, of course, if you're coming with a family, beside the main applicants, you have dependents. Then dependents, we have some other miscellaneous charges also. So each dependents usually work out to about 5,000 to 6,000 per person. So those are the fees, and we usually do not charge extra.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Then in your case, right, because since we have done so many applications, for those fees that you mentioned, right, is it like all are one-off fees, or do they have a recurring fees?
No, so government also fix it that way. So out of the 40,000, payment terms wise, they actually separate into two different payments. So upfront, upon confirmation, if you wish to apply MM2H, you have to pay a deposit of 20% out of the 40,000. The balance of 80% only upon approval. So then you do not have to come up with a big amount, lump sum. Yeah, only upon approval. And after approval, when you receive the confirmation letter from the government, then only you bring the deposit to any of Malaysia bank, deposit in the Malaysia bank.
Okay.
Yeah. And government will give you a 1 year period, grace period, for you to purchase your property. So what you have to prepare upfront is the 20% deposit, and subsequently upon approval, then you have to, based on the silver category, you have to deposit $150,000 US.
Yes.
Okay. To any of Malaysia bank, put it as an FD. Okay. Then within a year time, you have to prepare to purchase a property. And when you purchase property, there's also some options in terms of payments. You can also, besides paying cash, as a foreigner, you can also take loan. Yeah. So upfront, you don't have to take out so many money.
True.
Yeah.
I think on that, Eric has summarized very nicely. But of course, if you have further questions, right, whichever numbers that we share today, of course, it applies now. Maybe if you're watching this in the coming few months, right, then things may change. So if you want like the latest or most updated information, you can always refer to the below, where I've actually included a link. So there actually you can fill up your information. Then if there's any update regarding M2H, we will provide you with the first-hand information. Because the next question, right, we're going to talk about is that, because just now we have covered the cost part. Okay, so now coming on after we have obtained the MM2H. So does MM2H actually lets the person have a better advantage in terms of getting loan?
Oh, of course. As a normal pure foreigner, if you want to invest in Malaysia property, of course, you are also entitled to apply a loan. But usually, the margin of finance will be slightly lower. So on average, people will get about like 50% margin. Okay. However, if you are an MM2H visa holder, then it will help you a lot. Because for MM2H applicants, government already did 1 round of survey checking, on your background search. So that's why to bank will feel more secure if you are an MM2H holder. Means you definitely clear all the government's checking, okay, in order for you to get the approval. So that's why bank will prefer to actually lend you higher margin. So with MM2H, usually our clients can get up to 85% margin. but at least minimum also you can get 70%.
Okay.
Yeah, so not an issue. Of course, provided you have sufficient income document to prove lah. Yeah.
Okay.
So as an MM2H holder, you will have this advantage. So you don't have to come up with so much of money. If you're buying property, you can actually take loan from any of the local banks.
Yeah, I think on this, right, if you want like further analysis or loan assessment, right, I've actually done another video which you can also see in the pop-up above, speaking on foreign loan assessment, looking from the current economy and, a lot of news coming in that, including like globally where the economy is not at the best situation. So speaking on that, what do you see about Malaysia economy for MM2H applicant? Do you think that it's still a good timing?
Well, we will actually encourage those who, especially for retirement. Yeah, for retirement, there's a lot of advantage for retiree who live in Malaysia for their retirement because of the cost of living. Yeah, so if you're looking to invest or to do business in Malaysia, that's another separate visa. So as an MM2H visa, you by right you're not allowed to work unless you apply for the highest category, platinum. Platinum category, you're allowed to own a business here. Okay. So, but for retirement wise, I think Malaysia is one of the best country for you to consider because of the cost of living, because of our culture, and we are a very inclusive society. So as you can see, we have different races all live together harmony, and Malaysia seldom have this kind of like disaster. Yeah, we do not have typhoon, we do not have earthquake and all these things. So, and if you like tropical weather, Malaysia is also one of the best country for you to consider. And we have a lot of beautiful mountain, beaches, and yeah, so if you like natural, so Malaysia is also one of the best place for you to live. So I would say, of course, there's no best country to me. There's no best country in the world. The matter is whether this country is suitable for you or not. Yeah, so we will always encourage those who want to enjoy their retirement life to consider move to Malaysia, because Malaysia, we can provide you this kind of environment. Yeah. Another thing is, I try a lot of foreigner consider Malaysia is because most of our people here, we speak multi-language. Yeah. So even like Chinese or English is actually widely speaking in Malaysia. So there's no issue for foreigner when they come to Malaysia. So if you, whether you're coming from the west or from the east, so you can easily communicate with Malaysian. Yeah,
True.
it helps a lot actually.
True. True. I think on that, right, now coming to the next part, which is, besides we talk about lifestyle, economy, and weather, is there any other benefits of MM2H holders in Malaysia? Like for example, speaking from healthcare or education or even insurance point of view.
Yeah, so if you are MM2H holder, you can actually do a so-called long-term medical treatment in Malaysia, because Malaysia has a very good medical system. So there's a lot of foreigners actually coming for medical treatment. So however, if you do not have a long stay visa, so there'll be a hassle for you to come in as a patient. Very hassle. You come in and out, in and out. Yeah. So with the visa, you can actually stay here and you do not have to leave the country. Yeah. And also with MM2H visa, if you're coming with your children, they are actually allowed to study in our international school. Yeah, so a lot of our clients, because of the medical system in Malaysia and also because of the education system, they choose Malaysia as their second home.
Okay, on this, right, a bit out of topic, but I'm very curious because speaking of education, right, I have also a lot of customers, like what you say, they come here just for the school. So based on your perception on Malaysia education, because I see that there are also a lot of new international school being opened. What do you think is the main reason why the education here is something that they like, and what to look for if, let's say, they are planning to come for?
I think the most attractive part is, I think the tuition fee is much cheaper compared to the big city like in Shanghai, in Hong Kong, or even in Singapore. So Malaysia, the international school, those top tier international school fees are still considered affordable. Yeah, compared to all this other country in Asia. So apart from that, of course, it's our culture, because most of the feedback that we receive from the family, when they bring the children here to study in international school, they can see the improvement, especially like English, because Malaysia, we have this kind of environment. For Chinese family who study in Malaysia, you get the environment so that your children can actually learn English. Yeah, a lot of Chinese family when they study international school in China, end up they do not learn their English. So yeah, that's the reason why they always like Malaysia, because we have the culture, we have the environment to provide them to learn, and not just English, Chinese also, or other languages like Koreans. Is also very easy. You can actually learn in Malaysia.
Wow. So basically, to summarize, is that because they are exposed in this type of environment where we tend to speak in Chinese or English, then they also get to sort of 习惯 like familiarize with the language also. I think that's good. That's a good point. So now speaking, my last question, which I think this one is more like as a MM2H application, what do I need to prepare, or would you have any like tips? Okay, what are the things that I need to take note before I consider to apply in terms of documentation part?
Before we talk about the documentations, I'd like to highlight a little bit, which usually we will first advise the clients to pay a visit to Malaysia first.
I see.
Then to study well about Malaysia, whether is it suitable for you to live. Yeah, if you really like it, then you can start to prepare the documents. Yeah, the most important documents is we call it a non-criminal certificate. Some country they call it a police clearance report or a letter of good conduct. Yeah, so if you have this, then shouldn't be any problem for the applications.
Okay.
Yeah. So other documents is very simple. It's just like your passport, and then if you're bringing your spouse, you have to show us your marriage cert. If you're bringing your children, birth cert. If you're bringing your parents, then it's your own birth cert to show that they are your parents. So other than that, the rest is considered very simple, straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long normally the whole process will be?
Yeah, like I said just now, initially when first started, it took about 2 months to get the approval. But now, because of the application volume, there's a lot of applicants applying for MM2H. So we have clients waited for about 3 months plus to almost 4 months. Yeah. So we foresee moving forward at least about to be safe, about 3.5 to 4 months to get the approval.
I think on this, right, maybe I just add on one thing is that if you are still considering, right, I would suggest it's always good to start early.
Yep.
Right, because I'm sure from your experience, M2H, I mean, this policy also is like keep on changing. So if you're watching this video, maybe a few months from now, things could change as well. So like I said, if today, right, you find that this session is helpful, of course, it's important to also note that MM2H is ever-changing, ever-changing thing where policy may change time to time. So if you want to know further or you want to get direct advice, right, like I said, I've included a link below where you can fill up your information. Then from there, we will actually be in touch with the specialist so that to get the most precise advice. Okay, so anything to add on before we end the session today, Eric?
As I said just now, so there's no best country in the world. So before you make a decision whether to apply M2H or not, I will always welcome all my clients to pay a visit to Malaysia. So to study here and to see the culture, to see the environment before you make the decision. But most of our clients, once they have visited Malaysia, and when they go back, sure they will apply MM2H. So because when they are here, then they will notice that Malaysia is really a nice country. Especially the people here. Yes.
Yeah. So I think on this, right, if you guys want to know more, again, the link is below. Again, thanks for Eric this session. If you want to know more about as a foreigner, what to take note when it comes to investing in Malaysia or buying property or even retiring here, you can always follow and subscribe our channel.